Just give me a few seconds. Yeah, okay. Now I'm recording this also. Yeah, yeah. Florence, you are ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're all set?
Uh, yes, sir, I guess
Yes,
so.
all the best, Florence.
Yeah,
You'll do
Thank
well.
you, sir.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure you will do a good job. You can start now.
Yes, sir. May I start?
Please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Florence Zorindiki, and I'm from Amity, doing my master's in Defense and Strategic Studies. And today I'll be presenting my presentation on my topic, Psychological Consequences of Counterinsurgency and Security Policy on Civilian Population of Mizoram. So, mainly this uh, topic is all about the psychological problems that the people face due to insurgency and all. So first, I'll start with the context, which is basically about Mizoram. Like Mizoram is a very strategically important border state in Northeast India, which shares about approx 500 to 510-kilometer border with Myanmar and close to 300 to 320-kilometer with Bangladesh. It have dense forests, mountainous terrains, and like a border where like border management is quite a bit difficult. Historically, if we see, like the Mizo and Chin communities have a common ancestry, uh, and a bit of language and culture as well. But even though there was no major conflict between this two, between Mizoram and Myanmar, but it started like the major one. It started back in 2021, which triggered like a armed conflict, and many of the people they fled to Mizoram. Uh, Here we have even like from what I have studied, like we can see that there are few existing research gap, we could say, which mainly focuses on the border security and the humanitarian assistance and regional politics. And then I have even like seen that there are limited research that examines basically the psychological effect that the host state have been facing. And this study it even explores like how geography, like the border proximity and ethnic identity can influence anxiety, trauma, fear, and social stress. Now, if you look back at the 2021 Myanmar conflict, it is considered as important and one of the most major events because it triggered the entire chain of um, this large scale armed conflict and the crisis affecting Mizoram. Uh, it can be it can be marked as the beginning of a widespread conflict in Myanmar after the military overthrew the elected government, and thousands of civilians they fled to Mizoram, making it like the one of the most main destination to run away, even though there were other states like bordering it, like Manipur and then Tripura as well. But since like Mizoram as a state shared like many years of um, this trade and all also, so in the border, so it was very easier for them to flee to Mizoram compared to the other states. And now we'll, ma'am, can you please go to the next slide? Now we'll talk about the objectives and the methodology. So, like, the main objectives of this research paper is to examine the psychological impact of Myanmar's conflict on the people of Mizoram, and then to even understand the role of geography and border proximity. Um, And to even understand like what are the ways that the community is uh, taking steps to cope with those problems, and to even understand the kind of psychological problems that the people are facing, let it be trauma or anxiety or fear. And then for this method, for this research, the methodology that we have used is the qualitative, and the study area, it covers the border districts of Mizoram. And for this research, they are like we have chosen like we have taken primary data and secondary data, which are for primary data, it's the observation and then the narratives, and then for secondary data, it's the MHA, WHO, then NCRB, UNHCR, and yeah, that's it for this slide. So for the research question, like we were mainly focused on uh, how has the Myanmar conflict affected the people, affected the psychological well-being of the Mizo people. The second question is how does Mizoram's geography contribute to fear and insecurity? And the third one is what forms of trauma and social stress are experienced by the local population? So after all the research findings and after doing my paper, like some of the major findings that I have found is uh, border plays a very important role in the security of a nation. So if there is conflict in the border area, so it is going to um, create fear and stress, especially at that state. Like as we know that if the country itself is not secure in its own nation, like if the state is not secure in its own nation, then it'll be very easier for other nations to come and attack that particular nation. So it is very important that the border security should be very strong. Um, and due to like the many years of the ties that we have with the Chin community, with the Myanmar community, let it be related to trade or the similarity in our language, culture, food habits. Uh, because of that, like somewhere the people are like even though they're facing problems, but at the same time for them also like it is like for the local people it is very hard to not accept them because it's like it's like the nature of the people there to have this very uh, to give this homely kind of vibe to everyone. So for them also it does affects a lot. Like it's like they're stuck between like thinking for themselves and between humanity. And it didn't only affect the psychological well-being, but also it affected the stability in the Mizo society because of this, the amount of population is getting high every day in Mizoram, because of which there are more and more people working. And one thing about the state of Mizoram is that uh, it's not like the other states that one person, if they are working as a taxi driver also, they can work every day. It doesn't work like that. There, every car have a particular number, so they can, if that car like is being used on Monday, then that car can't be used on Tuesday. It's like that. The same goes for two-wheelers as well. And like there are limited like time that till only 5 p.m. you can sit and sell vegetables. So the situation is like that there. So because of this increase in the amount of population, people are even like struggling with their job to have an earning, because everyone is doing the same thing to earn money. And community like this churches, and then this uh there is YMA, which is the Young Mizo Association. They work as different like different uh they set up different camps and all to teach people to not fall into like, because of this affects like it affects the younger generation to falling into like doing drugs and everything. So because of that, like this churches and this young Mizo association, they try to come up with this homes, which is basically like rehabilitation centers for this kind of people, so that they can, you know, keep the society clean. Uh, Next slide. So after my research, like only like I have a few recommendations that I believe that is needed to be taken is to establish community mental health services in vulnerable border district, not just in the capital of Mizoram, that is Idle, but even in the border, like mainly in the areas of Champai district and then Seha district, because mainly those people they come from there, and to promote mental health awareness through trauma and stress management programs. Especially, I think it is very important that they teach such subjects in school and colleges as well. And I personally believe that there should be a counselor in every school or college. Uh, and then, yeah, to promote more government agencies like NGOs and local community, and to set up more psychosocial support by creating more spaces like rehabilitation center, and then like maybe promote the study of psychology more in this area so that it can help the people. Next slide. And for the bibliography, like I have primary and secondary sources. The primary sources are like the observation, case studies, and personal narratives. And for the secondary sources, I've got the informations from Ministry of Home Affairs and World Health Organization, United Nations High Commissioner of Refugees, National Crime Records Bureau, International Crisis Group, and then from a few people's writing, that is Hoffol, Volcan, Hager and Streng, and Borwa. And the total references that I have gotten is 20, more than 20 plus scholarly books, articles, government reports. That's it. Next slide. Thank you. That's it.
All right. Okay. Florence,
Yes, sir.
I have few observations. Okay.
Sorry, sir. I didn't get you.
Yeah, I have few observations.
Yes, sir. Please.
In the overall, it's okay. In fact, you finished it in good time, very good time actually.
14 minutes.
Yeah, you took about 14 or 15 minutes only. That's quite appreciable. But we must always remember that a research presentation is made with only one purpose. That purpose is to make an impact on the audience. The audience has to, at the end of the presentation, the audience should not be sleeping. They should be just waking up and, you know, flooding you with questions, because they are so-called information awareness has been, you know, like woken up. Okay. That is where the initial slide, last time when I had told all of you to concentrate on the initial slide, when the title comes up, I said you must take 3, maybe 4, if necessary even 5, because the rest of the slides are only abridged. Okay. You can take even full 5 minutes out of the 20 to clearly explain the context and the problem. Okay. Context means what's happening in Mizoram. What are the negative effects of it? Okay. Problem means why this particular issue requires our attention. Why should we bother about psychological well-being of the people of Mizoram? There are, you know, 140 crore people in this country, and everyone has got problems. Okay, like Dr. Neetika just suddenly disappeared for 2 years. When she came back to academic, she says, yeah, I got a problem. How do I reconnect? So there is nobody without problems. Okay. We are talking about 140 crore. Okay. So few million in Mizoram. Why do they need our attention? Why should the academic community bother? Why should the policy makers bother? Okay. So that punch has to be delivered in the beginning, because the rest is only about your work. See, this is
Yes, sir.
what I have found, and this is what I'm recommending. These are the sources that I have consulted. These are all, shall I say, procedural elements. Okay, people know, okay, you consulted 20 odd, books and reports and research papers. Very good. Okay. But the punch, I hope you're getting the point. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it's very important that you must focus. That's why, in fact, Partha sir will definitely speak after me, but I'm going to steal one of his dialogues. Okay. We are very fond of stealing from each other, actually. Okay. So one of his dialogues, if you carefully, if you had listened last time, he would have said, he did say, you must rehearse, you must write down your script, and you must rehearse. Okay. You rehearse means not reading it, mentally. You have to speak out. Stand in front of a mirror, call your friend or call your mother, tell her that this khan khol ke rakhna, baki sunte rehna. Okay. Just 20 minutes you bombard her. Okay. At the end of it, if she says, pata nahi kya bol rahi hai, okay, that means your presentation is not good. But if your mom says, beta, aisa bhi problem hai kya? Arre, kuch to karna chahiye, then you have made an impact. You have made an impact on a person who is not an academic, who is not a policy maker. Okay. If you can make an impact on that person, then you're through. Okay. That is why you have to very carefully follow what Partha sir said. Rehearse. Prepare a script for your presentation. Rehearse. If you rehearse, then you yourself will know, am I waking up the people? Okay. Have you understood?
Mm. Yes, sir.
Now coming back to your slides. Okay. Deepali ma'am, can you please put up her slide again?
I will share it.
Yeah. Now, please go to the second slide.